Today we are talking E.L.F. Beauty, their earnings call last week, their raise of their guidance, their full year 2027 guidance. Three things I'm cautiously watching, where the stock is going from here, and what I'm doing with it in my investing portfolio. Guys, let's jump right in. On a 5-day chart, E.L.F. Beauty is up. They reported earnings right about here, so I want to say it's up about 10% or so from when they reported earnings. If we take a 5-day chart, which this is right here, up almost 15%. So looking good. They highlighted on their earnings call that their revenue has raised every quarter for, I can't remember, but for a long time it's raised. And guys, we can see here, this is a year chart. And yeah, their revenue has raised. Absolutely amazing. So they've done a great job. Okay, here we go. We can go back to Q3 20, Q2 2022, and we can just see up, 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 and up, and up. So absolutely awesome. Looks like it's doing well. On the earnings call, Rhodes was the standout. It's driving all the growth. The sense I got from the team on the earnings call was a sense of urgency. Yes, they're happy about Rhodes and being the main growth driver, but they're bummed that the other three are not participating, and they're doing everything they can in their power to try to change that. And I think that's what's happening with the company is they are just working hard. Let's look at their guidance raise right here. This was from the quarter before. This was their full year 2027 guide. If you don't know, the way they do it is their year 2027 ends in March. So this quarter was actually their first quarter, their first 2027 Q1 results. So we got 3 more quarters and then it'll end in March. So this is the what they're projecting was 1.86 billion in revenue, and they upped it to 1.96. Same thing with their EPS. Their high guide was 3.32, and then the high on this side would be 3.55. So absolutely amazing. Would love to hear it. Love to see it. Let's talk about 3 things that I am being very cautious. The other brands not participating is definitely, cause for concern. I think they're going to do their best to change it. So it's not a major concern for me. Another thing on the earnings call, they bought back 50 million in share repurchase. Absolutely amazing. Sounds great, right? I mean, it is great. But the problem is they've been diluting over the last few years. So 2023, they're about 53 million, and now we're up to 59 million. The same thing with the debt. They obviously had to acquire Rose, and they had to dilute a little bit of shares, and they had to take on some debt. So the total debt is at 900 million. They got some cash on hand, so it's probably a little bit less than that technically, but just something to think about, something to be cautious about, something that I'm looking at. All right, guys, where is it going from here? 2 billion in revenue. That's where it's going. That's their guide, right? For this year, 1.96. Wouldn't it be awesome if they got to 2 billion for the 2027? This is the guide, and this isn't from them. This is stock analysis. So this be analysis for them. We take up all the people analyzing the stock, and they're saying only 7.76, which would be 2.12, and that's their revenue, their top line, their sales number, and that'd be for 2028. Might be a little early to project. I definitely hope that it's not that, right? We want to see way more growth than that. This thing is trading at a high PE multiple, so that would be definitely not good. All right, let's talk about where else they're going. International. Well, they've already been international, right? You could see in 2020 they had 10% international sales, and by 2026 now they've upped it, almost actually more than doubled it, 21%. Guys, they are still pushing. This is one of their main growth drivers that they're hoping for, is to push into more markets internationally, in particular Europe. They were talking about expanding their presence in Boots. Boots is a retail chain all over Europe. I want to say over 1,500 locations. So that would be awesome. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. Hopefully that can increase their revenue as well as their bottom line. All right, guys, let's talk about the shares I hold. 10 shares still. Man, I got such a good price. I mean, this thing moved quick, almost 100%. Not quite. I got 80% in 3 months. Do I wish I bought more? Absolutely. But it is what it is. You just never know how the stocks are going to trade. With a mid-cap stock, like small to mid-cap stock like this, things can move quick. Could also come back down. You never know. Guys, I'm not selling this share. I think they have a long runway in front of them. I love the management team. I think they're doing their best to navigate all the situations, the whole tariff thing, and then, the most of their product coming from China. They've tried to ease that over time, and they have been. so they're not as reliant on China for their manufacturing footprint. So all good things. Am I buying more? Not at these levels. I couldn't justify the forward P is only 30, and doesn't look that high, but when I'm buying in the 20s, I'm probably looking, a little bit lower for that. Same thing with the price to earnings growth. You can see I was probably buying in the low twos. Now it's trading in the mid to highs. So something to think about, but you never know. Maybe I will buy, even though it feels a little bit overpriced from where I got it. All right, guys, that's all I have for you on this one. If you guys want to see every move I make in my investing portfolio as well as my gambling portfolio, hit the subscribe button. I will see you in the next one.